Transfer special episodes are supposed to be happy events. I'm not happy. Hey there, welcome back. It's episode 47 of Dominating Denmark with BK Frem. Welcome! So, transfer window episodes, generally it's like, look at this cool player we brought in, look at that person we sent out on loan, yay! That's not gonna be the case today, my friends. We have some good news, don't hear me wrong. And I want to say, first off, we're going to get into all that, but I want to say thank you for watching this. So as I mentioned in the last episode of Dominating Denmark, I had a bunch of work stuff going on this week. I couldn't be as consistent as I want to be for you as my audience. Typically, I'm giving you a Dominating Denmark episode every other day. We're doing From Backpack to Boss the days in between, and then some Motorsport Manager. We just started this War of Mine as the secondary parts of the days, having 2 videos a day. So I'm sorry for that, but thanks for letting me have a life. Kind of had to do some stuff, and now we're back. The other thing you might notice is the text probably looks a little bit smaller around me. So I have been recording in 1600 by 900, which is more than 720p, but less than 1080p in terms that's essentially the dimension, 1600 pixels wide and 900 pixels tall. And 1080p is 1920 wide and 1080 tall. So my iMovie has been rendering and forcing 1600 to grow essentially into 1920. And I was looking at some of the recent episodes and thought it looks a little fuzzy, like from a camera standpoint. Like if you're growing my head, from a pixel standpoint, it's going to get a little fuzzy. And I honestly hadn't looked at it in some time, so I should have. So I've made that change. It might make the numbers a little small. So I'd like your feedback on that as we're kind of hopping around and you're looking at text. Does that matter? Because I do want to have a clear face, but I'm not sure what else we can do besides recording at a different resolution or just deal with it being a bit smaller on screen behind me. So let me know that. All right, so let's hop back into the transfer window. So the thing I neglected to mention to you, I just forgot. It wasn't like intentionally keeping you in the dark. In the last episode, when I said, what about all these people that were scouting? What do you think? Help me make a decision. Was that our transfer budget had been dwindled down to about £500. That was primarily because of Toft, right? So we bumped up our payroll budget to help afford him, and that kind of messed up our transfer budget. Now, we do have, right, 1,400 or so in payroll budget available, which if you push that into transfer budget, would get you some cash, right? Probably 1,452 weeks. What is that? Like more than 50 grand. But then the problem is you wouldn't be able to afford the payroll. Like if you went out and got a 50 grand, player, you wouldn't be able to afford their sign-on fee, their agent fee, and then their wages. So that really kind of hampered us a little bit. That's the first thing I would tell you is we didn't get Mace, who was that attacking midfielder on the left side and striker. 23 looks really good. We're going to keep scouting him, keep our eye on him. His contract is up at the end of this season to see if we might be able to pick him up on a free, because they wanted 54 grand for him. And we were like, hey, call you next year. So it didn't work out. But that's not what I'm really upset about. Why would I be that upset about that, right? So I don't know. Let's say you're 17-ish. And last season you played in the U19, which is like, I think like the 4th division, or like it's way down there, right? You're in the U19s for a reason, because you're 17. Your club gets promoted to the Super League, and the manager is generous enough to give you a shot as a then 16-year-old, now 17-year-old, to start 8 games. You get 9 substitute appearances. You've got 2 goals on a 6.69 rating. And then another club with a slightly higher reputation, our reputation right now is 2-star, comes along and says they want to buy you. And you're like, yeah, I want to go over there. They're big. I like them. And you're disregarding that you grew up in our academy. I get a little irritated with that. Like, we just got to the Super League, bro. And of course, I'm talking about Per Kammersgaard. So Copenhagen came sniffing around, and we said, I want $1 bajillion. Like, I can't remember if it was like 500,000 or $1 million. It didn't matter. It was a lot. And they were like, no. And they left. And then he got upset that we priced him out of the deal. And I was like, get over it, kid. Because here's my take. You can be part of the solution in two different ways. You can be part of the solution by helping our overall balance get out of the red significantly, or you can be a part of the solution by banging in some goals. So we told him, sorry. And he came to us, hey, the cam, and I want to, can we decide on a price? And I was like, whatever. It was like 400 or 500 grand. And he was like, well, and he got mad. And I was like, you can be mad. That's fine. So about a week later, he comes into the office, hands me his transfer request officially. It's in the papers. Media's asking me about it. Totally throw it. It's like he's got what would this would be in America is like an AAU basketball, which is like summer league basketball before you go to college, like you're between your junior and senior year of high school and your high school senior year in college, where you've got like the shady uncle who's giving you bad advice to take some money from a school to go to school there, right? Hey, they'll give you a Camaro or whatever, right? I feel like he's got a shady uncle who's like, man, you need to move clubs. Like, you just got your chance. You're starting games in the Superliga, bro. So that's out in the public. And then this happened on the last day of the transfer window. Aston Villa came in. Copenhagen came back. Midtjylland came in. Lyngby came in. Norwich came in. And then these guys were it was just a joke. I felt like they were just like, like, we're going to offer you $6,000 and you're going to pay us £140 a week. What are you smoking, Viborg FF and Silkeborg? Come on, give me a break. So essentially what I did with all these clubs, as I said, the bidding starts at 500 grand. Plus, after whatever, spread over 12 or 24 or 48 months, I think I ended up with like 48 months. Spread over 48 months, you're going to give us 100 grand. After 50 of his appearances in the league, you're going to give us 100 grand, and you're going to give us 35% of the profit of the next sale. I thought it was fair. That was the deal. Again, you can be part of the solution two different ways. Everyone said no, except Copenhagen, who said, we'll give you 150 grand, no clauses. I was like, no. So I dropped it to 475 with the other stuff being the same. They're like, we'll give you 200 grand. I was like, no. Dropped it to 450 with all the other clauses. And essentially we got really, 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 really close on the last hour of the transfer window. And then it got canceled because the transfer window ended. So he's still here. And he's not happy. But it's like, I'm not giving you away for peanuts. It's like Copenhagen is like the Dortmund or the Bayern of the Superliga. It's like you can afford to go out, and they dropped 1.3 million pounds on a winger. So I know they've got the money, unless they spend all of their money on him, which could be fair, right? But if you want to come in and come get our 17-year-old 5-star prospect who's starting, he's not really a prospect anymore. You're gonna have to pay. If you think I'm wrong, leave me a comment. If you think I'm right, leave me a comment. I'm a little irritated, to be honest with you. So this led to some problems, my friends. We have no the monies, so we need to bring in the players. I don't know what that accent is. I'm going to stop. Mace is out because we can't afford his transfer fee. So I went ahead and we're bringing in Sacha Petchi, our Togolese friend. $575 a week. I thought that's a pretty good deal for what we're getting. 3.5 star. Got him on a free, so we didn't have to pay, a transfer fee. He's rated above Mateus Hebo. Now they're both, it says first division for both of them, but Hebo dreads playing in big matches, so maybe that's a way we can rotate him. But I wanted to give some additional depth to that defensive midfielder role, and he can play a ball-winning midfielder in the like midfield center role. He's essentially replacing Reiner Peterson. He has the potential to replace Reiner Peterson. We also have Kevin Foe Jorgensen and George Fochiv, whatever his name is. So he it's essentially a replacement that way. And we are paying Reiner Peterson like $925, $950 a week. So we're saving money right off the bat. And he can cover the defensive midfielder, and that is his preferred position, and he's rated slightly higher than Hebo. Now, this surprises none of you, because in the comments, everyone was like, go get Sacha Pechi. And I was like, yeah, got our message received, right? Off we go. So that's who we brought in. And I'm happy with him. So we got him working on, he's got poor tackling. That's probably not good if you're a ball-winning midfielder. That's probably going to lead to some yellow cards, right, guys? And he's playing in some international games, but he's got great physicals for a 28-year-old. I'm pretty happy about it. So that's who we brought in. Derek Nissen finally signed his contract with Naisted. I wanted to point this out because I think this is one of those, it's like from a storyline perspective, it's a win-win, right? He was on the bench. He was a backup. He was making, whatever, $210, $250 a week, let's call it. Not seeing the pitch. He played 3 games for us this season. Now he's starting in the division below us. He's doubled his wages. Props to you, Derek. Have a good one. You were a good servant for us. You were with us from the 2nd division to the 1st division to the Superliga. Go in your cash, man. Go in your cash. So, what I also wanted to do, because you guys were awesome, I hadn't even thought about this, was offer trials to some of the freebies that we had. Now, we went ahead and got Sacha Pechi because I thought he was worth it. And we had the wage budget. But I went ahead and also brought in Gerrit Vegkamp, who is that German striker we were waiting on the scouting report. Apparently, between Denmark and Germany, it's like carrier pigeon to get the scout reports back. And it's like, I know we just turned professional, and our scouts are like, oh, we can like leave the borders. Like, I need a passport. Maybe that was the problem. All of our scouts had to go get passports, and that's really slowed down the process and actually getting information on this guy. So we brought him in on a 4-week trial. You'll notice if you've been paying attention down here, yeah, he played in a friendly and it was a 6.2. I mean, he wasn't match sharp. It's still kind of concerning, right? Not gonna lie. But he's 6'4", 16 jumping reach, 11 heading. He would be a replacement for Kammersgaard if we lost him. So I went ahead and brought him in on trial. Now the window's closed, and so unless something is weird about registering people you're picking up on freeze, I'm thinking I can't use him this season anyway. So we're just going to see how the 4 weeks goes, and then maybe offer him a contract. We'll see. He's not off to a smashing start, you could say. 6.2. Come on. But we also brought in this guy, who I'll show you in just a second. Loic Biselli. He's 21. He's 5-star. I think it was like an agent came to us and said, like, my client is looking for something to do. And I was like, all right. We did a little scout report, and it was like, oh, potential to be one of the best players in the club. And I'm like, okay, bring him in on trial. I mean, his physicals, if these are like 11, 12, those will all be green. He's got great decision making, but his crossing is horrific. Marking is all right. Tackling's pretty good. Heading is all right. If you put him in the fullback, if we put him in the complete wingback up here, he's a little out of his element, I think. So we're going to see how he fills out. I'm just surprised that he's rated above Johannesson, like as a left back, not the complete wingback, as a left back. If you go to he's above Badran. Johannes is not even listed as a wingback. He's like, I don't know what to do there. Lack of composure. If it's a 7, he fits right in with the squad. He's Togolese, so that would be nice to help out Sacha Petcha, because he doesn't speak any Danish, and it's going to cost us 40 grand to send him on an intensive language course. We're just going to say, like, Sacha, kick ball, go. That's going to be our communication from a coaching staff standpoint. But I'm quite happy we were able to bring him in. We've got the Welcome Back League that we're playing here. If you don't know what that is, I've done this in all my series thus far. Coming back off of a winter break or something like that, I call it the Welcome Back League, which is a friendly league. What I have discovered as a relatively new player to FM is this is a great way to make your club, especially if you are like trying to survive financially, a good amount of cash. So we play Lubeck and we made like £500 on that. It's a draw. We're playing that formation, the 5-1-2 whatever DM thing with the complete wingbacks. So I played it just to get us some more game time with it, and we drew. A little disappointing, whatever. But these 3 games here are going to net us £140,000. And then these 2 games are going to net us like combined probably like £5,000. £145,000 over 5 games when you are 104,000 in the hole is a big deal. Like, that's into the black all of a sudden. Get out of that red ink. Let's get the black ink back out. Now, we're playing Esbjerg, who are, 14th place. They're in the Superliga. So they're a good team, right? They're in the Superliga. BK Haken, I believe, because they're Swedish. And then Copenhagen, who's like the big draw. That's why everybody's going to come and come to the match and gate receipts and all that kind of stuff. But we've got some stuff where we can use some of those, like those are back-to-back-to-back games. So having 2 people on trial is really helpful from like a physical fitness and not dying on the pitch standpoint, right? And then I think this is where we're going to wrap up the episode. I've been rambling for about 16 minutes now. But we have 4 games to play. And what I'm happy about is when I'm looking at these, I know who these clubs are now, right? Like, so I think that's worth a like. Brøndby, Gymnastic, Aalborg, and Nordsjælland. I may not have said them correctly, but I didn't have to look to know that that's Gymnastic and Aalborg. I think that shows I'm learning the Danish Superliga. I think that's kind of cool. I'm kind of digging it, right? So when we come back, the next episode is going to be Aalborg and Nordsjælland. So again, thank you so much for sticking with me. The views on the channel have kind of slowed down a little bit because I wasn't putting out 2 videos every day. And this series is the most popular series on the channel. So when this goes away for a couple days, everything falls apart from a view standpoint. And with FM17, I guess from your perspective, it's this way. It's kind of falling off, right? Because FM18 is right around the corner. But we're going to do a lot of cool stuff in FM18. That's our transfer window. Smash a like on it. Subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any of the new stuff. There is a way, I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, so if you're still here, thank you. YouTube, the last week or so, has had some issues with pushing out videos to subscribers, like to where it shows on your subscription feed. There is a way, if you go to the channel, if you go to our channel, my channel, it's me, myself, and I. If there's a bell looking icon that you can click to where it will actually like send you a notification, not just a subscription list, send you a notification that another episode has come out on my channel. So if you want that, if you don't want to miss something, because I think I had a couple episodes that we scheduled and like no one watched them because YouTube was like, I think I'm going to go get a coffee and we'll come back like in a week. So that's been going on. So thank you so much if you're still here at this point in the video, thank you for watching. Smash a like, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the transfer window. We'll see you in the next episode where we find out where we end up in the relegation group.